And welcome back. We're picking where we left off last time in Factorio, where we have our new freighter ship here ready to do deliveries. In theory, okay, it'll probably run a little bit better once we let the bullets and stuff catch up. But I think it is bullet positive even while it's stationary out to the outward places. So given that, well, there's a couple different ways to do this. I can either yeah, I think what I will do is let's have this thing stop doing all these different recipes. This is going to be our personal freighter. Of course, we want the personal freighter to pick us up, if that makes sense. So we need to have it come by and pick us up. You're over Novice right now. Does Novice need the extra launch capacity that it may get? Maybe. Let's go ahead and drop the extra launch capacity there anyway. And then we'll send it back to us because we're gonna redesign this ship today so that we can get out to where we're planning on going. So now that it's dropped the stuff it probably doesn't need that we'll use for launching from Novice, let's order it to come back here so we can catch up to it. Now this ship's going to be a little bit more complicated because we're going to want to add a few groups. Mainly being, hey, we want you to, well, basically we're going to nick the, oh, interesting. Okay, I see how that works. Not exactly how I want that to work, but good enough. Okay, and then let's do a slight edit. So this is all going to pick up freighter, so FR for freighter. Novice pickup, FR for freighter. Right now we don't have anything planned for novice pickup. Gleba pickup, FR for freighter. And then Fulgura pickup, FR for freighter. So right now we got nothing planned for pickup from novice. From Fulgura, we want it to be picking up. I think for the moment just Fulgura and Science, which is the electromagnetic plants, electromagnetic ones. We'll just have to pick up 1,000. We'll add a wait condition until all requests are satisfied. Or, let's say if you're sitting here for 5 minutes. Oh, and this is in seconds. So 5 minutes is 300 seconds. 300 seconds pass. Move to the next. Then we want you to go to Gleba, where we only want you to sit here, sit at Gleba for, let's say, a minute. And then go to Novice, and go to Vulcanus. All requests satisfied. Or time passed. 300 seconds. Then go to Gleba. And then at Gleba, again, it's just going to be time passed, but only 60 seconds. So basically, the plan is Gleba, the stuff that we pick up at Gleba spoils. Oh, and then we want you to go back to Novice again. So it's a bit of a roundabout way. We're basically doing a double triple, a double triangle trade, if that makes sense. All requests satisfied. Or time passed of 300 seconds. So basically, everywhere we Gleba, it spends 5 minutes unless all the requests are satisfied. So for example, there's not enough here to fill the recipe or fill the request for pickup, so it's waiting for the time. When the time is done, it should travel. Gleba pickup, we want you to pick up agricultural science. Again, pick up 1,000. Oh, and I suppose actually on Gleba we'll do all requests satisfied as well, but do an or. This sort of being planned the other way around, right? It's, hey, stay for a minute. Or for some reason you get everything satisfied, like Gleba is picking up Gleben science and carbon fiber. Basically one rocket stack of each. So if at any point you have both of them, go. Great. Gleba doesn't have a lot of launch capacity, so that's maybe not surprising that it wouldn't be able to do that. Actually, on Fulgur, let's have you pick up processing units. 300 stack of processing units. And low density structure. Basically one rocket worth each time. This will allow it to drop stuff at, say, Gleba. We can put a request at Gleba to pick up these two, because we can make rocket fuel pretty easily at Gleba, I think. In Novice, we don't really have anything we want you to pick up yet. Vulcanus. Oh, actually, I know what I'm going to pick up from Novice. Vulcanus is the Vulcanus science, metallurgical science. 1,000 of those. And I want you to pick up miners, the big miners, and foundries. Where we'll have those dropped off, I'm not quite sure yet, but we'll have you picking those up. So those at the same standpoint, we should do similar from Bulgara, where we'll have you pick up electromagnetic plants. And then to facilitate that, Novice needs to supply miners. So Novice supplies miners. Whenever it goes to Vulcanus, some of those will be dropped to fulfill the need. So we can come over to Vulcanus, check what's the requests at Vulcanus. Okay, we don't have a request right now. So right now I'm going to have you request 50 miners. So if at any point our inner system freighter shows up at Vulcanus, and it should be coming straight from Novice, so it should be carrying the 50 miners, it'll just drop them. Drop 50 miners. That then flows over to our big miner maker, which needs that as an input. And we don't make this here on Vulcanus. Fugura is semi-similar, where we're making our rocket turrets here. And the rocket turrets need carbon fiber. So if we tell our landing facility here, request carbon fiber, and when it arrives, it will drop off carbon fiber, and we'll have the ability to make rocket turrets there that way. And then Gleba will set up a request for blue and low density. That way we've got enough for the launch facility to always have launch capacity. It's got its own rocket production, or rocket fuel production, I think. Yeah, it's got its own rocket fuel production. Assuming it's working. Oh, well, it's backed up with rocket fuel for the moment. So we got so much rocket fuel there, it's being an issue. So this ship is now on its own and flying. So we'll see how well that cycle works. Just left Fulgura. It's on its way to Gleba. The freighter has arrived, or then our main transport, Bob Fizzle, HMS Bob Fizzle, is here awaiting us. So it is time to clear out the inventory so we can go to Aquilo. Note to self. Clear grouping before dumping everything from your inventory, because otherwise the bots bring them back to you. There we go. And now we should be ready to eject ourselves from the planet. We got 2 working trains here. Yeah, we got 2 working trains. Maybe an argument that this one isn't fully working. You know what? Let's fix that before we get going. What I need is belts and maybe inserters, but we'll go over there and see. So the bulb fizzle before we go out to Aquilo, which is the plan of the stream. It needs to be able to handle that trip. And inner system, what I'm going to call the inner system for, you just have to deal with medium-sized asteroids. Well, we're going to have to deal with big-sized asteroids going on this trip. And the big ones have a lot more physical damage. They have flat 2,000 physical damage resistance. Their weakness is explosions. So we're going to have to shoot rockets at them. That's how we're going to deal with that problem. We're going to shoot rockets at them. That's not very hard now that we've got rocket turrets. But we got to build a ship that has rocket turrets at least on the front, right? If all it's doing is flying us out to Quello, dropping stuff and booking it, like that's workable. We can work with that. But that's what we got to design. We're gonna get a ship that can basically do that. And then this over here, I think we just need to run the, well, assuming we got enough, run the blue belt over to connect it to this. It's not going to be ideal, but it doesn't need to be ideal. It just needs to be functional. We can always come back and fix it later. There we go. Perfect. Yep, the train goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Transporting scrap as it goes. But yeah, let's get us on our transport. Let's get our ship back to Navis, and then we'll undergo a redesign with it. We're going to Navis because there's some decent possibility we need to literally make the ship bigger. Take me to the bulb fizzle. So the hibiscus is Dead in the water. Okay, I see how I screwed it up. Okay, let's import party, right? The thing's been around the entire way. Throw that overboard. And then that one's broken. Why is that one broken? Because our belts are not fast enough. Okay. We have fast inserters, so why don't we upgrade to fast inserters? That'll be faster. Faster! Throw things overboard faster! Okay, so that means we got more ice going around. Which means more ice can get diverted to making ice to provide water, so the system has water. Wait, stopped at Gleba, awaiting delivery. There isn't a... Oh, we only got one launcher on the planet, so it's going to launch one thing or the other thing and not both things. Okay. Okay. So we're at the Bubble Fizzle. Let's get you back to Novice. And then we will begin the redesign. So we've already got 20 rocket turrets on board. I think that should be enough for the rocket turrets up front, to be fair. So I think we've got enough rocket turrets. We basically need to build up the supporting industry behind the ship. And that's why we're into Novice. There'll be a lot of recycled parts. There'll be some parts that won't recycle. Like we're not going to use electric furnaces. We're going to switch over to foundries. I don't think one thruster is fast enough for us anymore. We want to go faster. If we want to go faster, then we need the more complicated engine system that, well, we need to do a little bit of redesign on it because we just noticed it just stalled. So let's do a little bit of redesign so it doesn't stall like that, hopefully. In my fear that we wouldn't have enough calcite to work the foundries, I let the ice get chucked overboard. So this is why this thing's not running right now. Well, it's not running for other reasons as well, but this is why it's not running. Suppose right now it's running a little bit of water, right? Oh, and it's going to be running real unevenly because it's got one tank of water that's operational. We might have to do some maintenance on this to make this thing run better. Which isn't some impossibility. It's quite plausible that we can get it fixed. It's just not going to be easy. No easy peasy solution here. Yeah, so we can do something like so. So I can run the pipe. Oh, actually, I see what I can do. So I don't have to. Let's not even bother merging in that way. Pipe from there to there, there to there, there to there, and we can do an underground. Okay, we got a solution. All the water is now connected. Maybe a few other problems that are still associated with the ice, but it's going to expect maximum speed. But for now, I should at least be able to convert water to ice and generate water to run all the engines. Oh, we're back at novice. So with that, it's initially time to simply just disassemble big portions of the ship, I think. Just pack everything up. We're redesigning it from Ready Set Go. Sadly, the nice aerodynamic nose is the first thing that's going to be a casualty. It's going away. How many things wide is this? 8. No. One, two, three, four, five, 6, 7, 8. Oh, yes, it is 8. Okay, that makes it a little bit hard to make a uniform thing that has a central component that's a 3x3. Hmm. Yes. Yes. That complicates issues. The alternative is I centralize the launchers, because the launchers are also 3x3. Okay, well I can still centralize launchers. That's what we'll do. We'll do launcher, launcher. And my grabbers have a range left and right of about 6 by the looks of them. Okay. Okay. And we're over Novus, so we should be assuming we have the space. Let's to save a little bit of space. We're no longer going to use the firearm magazine, so drop those on the ground. There we go. And then I think we want to run the front end one rocket turret wider. It's about that wide. And this is going to have the good old-fashioned, maybe not standard solution for, well, my standard equivalent solution for dealing with ammo handling, which is it's going to have a sushi belt to supply the rockets. Other people have a little bit more, could have potentially more efficient options for this, but this is what I'm going to use. And then behind that, going to be a wave of gun turrets. Now, for the moment, this one's not really going to be sitting over any of the other major planets, so it needs a lot fewer gun turrets, I suppose, down the side. But we're gonna overkill the gun turrets. That's what I think I'm going to do. So our grabbers, our little space grabbers, we're going to want those down the sides as well. Okay. Maybe not. Oh, okay. So it just proceeds at one. Okay. Um. Gotta remember that I need to be able to get access to the ammo on these. Oops. And then we flip them horizontally. Yeah. Wait. No, that doesn't make sense. Because if that was making sense, then both sides should be the same length. What did I screw up? Or did I screw up the original side? That might have been the case. That works. That works. That works. That works. What? 3-3. 3-3 both sides. 3-3 both sides. Oh, okay. I see. No, I don't see. I'm confused. Very confused. So, that, flip horizontally, and then just overwrite the whole thing. Should be the same length. Ah, I see. We had one spot in the middle where it was, okay. Set up, it's done, it's fixed. That's going to be the armor piercing set. And then I need to sort out something with engines. The engines will be extra confusing because I'm going to want to get some ammo, armor penetration on them as well. We've got water. Are you actually... You're at Novice. You're waiting, presumably stuff to be picked up from Novice. Yeah. Wait. No, you should be going. Why aren't you going? Yeah, why aren't you going? Or is it you just don't have any thrust or something? Yeah, you have no thruster fuel. What's... You have thruster fuel? Okay. Because I screwed that up. Ah. Okay. Well, let's pull you out for the moment. No, that was right. Screwed you up. Because you're in a really bad spot. There you go. There you've got thrust. Yeah, so we don't necessarily want a repeat of that. Let's say. We don't want a repeat of that. The ratios on the fuel generation is correct. The issue is plumbing. So we want to try to avoid having a plumbing issue like that. Okay. So that's 3, 6, 7 engines. How do I want to position my 7 engines so they're more symmetric then? We've got how much space? 4 extra space. Okay, so that's definitely doable. Okay, so we think that's a working set of engines. Actually, let's go a little further. Let's just make sure there's enough for that set as well. Okay. Okay, with that, the engines are in theory connected. And maybe that actually is almost perfect. So let's expand the width of the back end just a smidge more on both sides. And that's going to be the garbage. That's where the garbage gets chucked overboard. Both sides. Hmm. Didn't think this far enough through. Yeah, not quite far enough through. Um, that gun's probably redundant on both ends. I'm gonna say that one's redundant. That'll work. Wait, did I accidentally take two guns out this side? I took two guns out of this side. Okay, and then we want to provide some coverage gun turrets on the butt end. We only want them to basically stick out and cover the gun, cover the engines, I suppose. So it doesn't necessarily need to stick out too far. Right, so that'll give me space to bring in the trash. I suppose I can run it behind every other gun. Yeah, that makes sense. Should work. With exception of the ones on the ends. Oops, missing a piece of pipe. Yeah, okay. Or actually, yeah, something like that. And then that gets balance merged. Yep, that's the bullet cycle. And again, we have a way to get the trash in and out in theory. By coming down the sides here. Okay. Needless to say, this is gonna need solar panels. I suppose well, yeah, I could basically just run the bullets right back up the middle, I suppose. Slightly off, asymmetric that way, but that'll work. Let's go around, around, around. And then left side of the ship will be rockets, right side of the ship will be bullet production. So we can borrow from the hibiscus the bullet design. So for the moment, let's basically borrow that portion of the design over the bob fizzle. Well, that's fine for me, but our proprietary assembly as well. Okay, so in that theory, that makes all our metals. For rocket production, which is a thing we can also do, gets a little bit more complicated. Well, in a way, it gets more complicated, but in a way, also just gets easier. Because it's explosive, right? So we're just going to go regular rockets. We're not going to go explosive rockets because I don't think we need the AOE. I don't think the AOE is helping us for what we want to do. So we're going to focus just on the big asteroids with this. So we need iron and explosives. Explosives is coal, sulfur, and water. Do I want, how much rocket production do I want? Probably not as much as we have, well, looks like it will be basically, okay, so if I do 4 factories, that'll be half the production of armor piercing rounds. Let's assume we need something like that. Okay, I'll be right back. So until, and actually looking at the time, this is probably a point where I should put a part break in. So if you're watching on YouTube, there will be a part up tomorrow. If you're watching on Twitch, I'm going to go deal with that phone call, and I'll be right back after that. So until the next part, wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part. Bye for now.